Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Kevin Dolan and Brian Leonard of WagerTalk.com. We're talking SEC football here on Saturday. We got the Ole Miss Rebels and the Tennessee Volunteers. We're seeing Ole Miss minus 3-point favorites here, Brian, with a total of 81.5. I believe the highest total on the board. Speaking towards these two offenses, this game going Saturday night at 7:30 on SEC Network. Are you liking anything here, Brian? The Volunteers and the Rebels.
Should be an exciting game if you like offense. Just looking at what the teams have done so far this year. Two elite defenses, Florida and Alabama. Team scored 21 and 14. But other than that, looking for Ole Miss 43, 54, 61, 52. Tennessee 38, 34, 56, 62, 45. Should be lots of offense here. And I think we're going to see that. Both teams should be a shootout. I wouldn't want to bet the under in this one. Somewhat concerned. Last week, Ole Miss plays Arkansas. Arkansas has 93 plays against this Ole Miss defense. I think Tennessee could take advantage of that. This is a Tennessee team. You know, they came into the season. There was a few people that really thought they were going to play pretty well. They played Bowling Green that first week, 38-6. Didn't buy too much into that, but since then, Bowling Green has probably gone up about 12 points in power rating, so that was a little bit impressive. They lose to Pittsburgh week 2, 41-34, but turns out this Pittsburgh team has played very well. Then to Florida, they lose that game 38-14, but they gave Alabama all they could take, and Florida is the team that is one of the top 10 in the country. So Tennessee's been pretty impressive. The offense the last couple of weeks, Missouri, South Carolina, neither team has a very good defense, and they torched them. So it's something that Tennessee's done. And you go back and look at the last 4 games, they're +8 in turnover differential. So they're not turning the ball over. The offense has been humming like crazy. And this Mississippi State team, the Mississippi team, last 2 games, now granted they played Alabama and Arkansas, but they allowed 42 and 51 points. You take a look at yards per play, 5.9, 7.3. So these two defenses could give up some points here. I'm leaning towards the over here. Leaning towards Tennessee, and I didn't think I'd be there a few weeks ago. This Tennessee team has been very impressive to me. So I'm looking for a shootout. If you like offensive football, this is the one to get behind.
Yeah, this will be a fun one to watch here, Kevin. And to Brian's points, I mean, the offense, especially Tennessee's, they've kind of turned it on of late. I didn't see this coming. And Ole Miss, with Lane Kiffin, Matt Corral, the Heisman hopeful here, offense going to be on display in Knoxville. It's just a matter of 81.5. We kind of need a clean ride to get to that up and over, but I could see it. Do you like anything here, side or total, Kevin?
Well, I'm not really loving a side in this one, Drew, to be honest, because I made this game right around 3 as well. But look, at 81.5, I think you know what I'm going to say. I am quite tempted by that under. Like 81.5 is just such a colossal number. I know we're talking about 2 offenses here. It's just a question not whether I actually have the stones to walk up to the window and betting under between these 2 teams right now. But for me, it's like Mississippi digging into the numbers a bit. They have been a little fortunate in the season so far. Second in number of giveaways on the year. The Rebels ranked ninth on turnover margin. They've had 18 successful 4th down conversions on the year, averaging 3.5 per game. Like no one else comes close to those numbers in the nation right now. And the Rebels are one of only 2 teams in the country not to have thrown a single interception all year, the other being Baylor. So when we talk about this, and look, it's an absolutely electric Mississippi offense. I think there is a small asterisk beside it just because, those numbers are simply unsustainable long term. And kind of whether it's this week or next, at some point, you would imagine there has to be some regression down the pipeline for this Rebels team on offense. Looking back to last season, the Rebels had just 2.2 4th down conversions per game. And, even that was enough to lead the nation. So where they are now, approaching almost double that, it just can't last. On the Tennessee side of the ball, the Volunteers have already eclipsed their 20-point total. 249 points in 6 games compared with just 215 in 10 games last season. But, again, as Brian said, Tennessee have benefited from a +8 turnover differential over the last 4 games. So, at some stage, both of these teams are going to find things aren't running as smooth for them offensively. But, whether that's this week, whether it's next week or, sometime in the future, who knows? But if it was getting involved at 81.5, I'd have to look at the under because, as you said, anything choppy happens and it could well end up cashing. But I just don't know if I have the guts to walk to the window.
Yeah, always tough to jump on the unders with these two high-profile offenses in college football, offenses across the board for that matter. But Kevin Dolan, Brian Leonard bringing the heat here with the analysis. Hopefully you enjoy the game. Ole Miss and Tennessee Saturday night. Plus, guys, you saw the graphics there. 78 was the opener on the total. We're talking about 81.5 as we're filming now. If you want to stay up to date on the totals and the sides, check out WagerTalk odds screen. It's at WagerTalk.com. The live odds tab there towards the top right. You can get the up-to-date odds for your personal betting. Check it out. Live odds screen, WagerTalk.com.